can't think of it.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yeah,
Where?
out 65.
No, I don't usually work out.
Going out west of town.
Mm-hmm.
Say the least.
Like you're going to a walnut cruise.
I need a long arm to reach.
Is it,
I kept trying to shut
is it before you get to Dollar General?
February 27th.
Yeah, it's no, it's back.
Daniel.
Like fall.
So it's in,
Before fall.
in Guilford County?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I've never noticed them.
Neither have I. It's like,
I think that's what Casey's been using.
It's just, I don't think it came before the planning board because it's just like 4 or 5. Hey, man.
How are y'all?
Hey, Robbie.
How's
There he
everybody?
is. Hey, Robbie, I remembered.
How are you doing? Doing good. Doing good. Oh. Huh? Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you're here. That's good. I hate to see these chairs get empty. That's why we put so many out. We try to fill them up. Let's see here.
You need to, oh, you got
You all
it.
get on the stream.
Looks like it.
Microphone's on. That's good. Looks good to me. Hey, how are you doing? Good, good.
Waiting.
Okay, wait.
You all right?
Mm.
Doing good?
He'll fly in here at 6:58.
Chuck is coming, right?
He should be. I talked to him earlier. He was coming. Let's see. I talked to him about 4:30. Should be here. How are y'all? Busy.
he's not on an airplane.
How are you? You ready to do your oath?
Yeah, I suppose.
Sounds good. I don't know. I guess about everybody. I know Andrew's not gonna be able to make it. Oh, okay. And Ron was maybe.
Ron was a maybe.
Ron was a maybe. Oh, Lord. Party foul. All right, we're gonna continue this meeting to next Thursday.
That's why we don't allow children in the chamber.
I will go ahead and put Ron's up, okay? If Andrew's not coming. I don't think Ron's coming.
I've got this little, or actually it's not little, it's this big insulated
Oops.
cup
That's my bad.
because it's designed to fit into the car holder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really small down the bottom and it's just, I have knocked that thing over so many times.
Yeah. They're definitely top heavy.
I know, tell me about it.
Was it water at least, Robbie? Or was it?
No, it's coffee.
Oh,
You know, coffee doesn't stain the carpet.
oh, I didn't see that.
That's right, we'll be good.
Well, it didn't stain, did it?
I don't know where it went. Did it all run down the curtain there?
We have
Think
a
it-
carpet
no.
at home that it's got this really busy
Why
powder
did I wash these today?
and we've got, had a
Wash them again.
The worst thing is, I can smell it, but I can't find it.
All right.
That's what happens with those types of carpets. You get lost in the design, and it's hard to see what's there.
There he is.
I'm Mason.
Mason, very nice.
Nice to meet you, Avery.
Yeah, come on up, Ron.
You change it? Smells like coffee. Mason spilt his coffee. I said, it smells like coffee. Mason spilt his coffee.
Ron, you gonna do acrobats for
The
us?
truth does.
Thank you, T.
This is a supplemental document with the ordinances on it.
What?
It's a supplemental document with the town's ordinances.
Oh, okay.
No, it's good.
You know, your comment about sewer system, this is the reason why we don't have any apartments in Stokesdale.
Page is that?
On the second and on the first page.
Bottom of the first page.
Boy, that's rough. Put that in minutes. Howdy, howdy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, doing good, doing good. Chuck should be here.
Yep.
Caught it.
Right on time.
How's everybody?
Good.
Hey, Chuck. Right.
Nobody's all right to see you. Okay, absolutely.
I was gonna check and see if you had a copy of this ordinance.
Okay, okay.
That's all it is.
I was reading somewhere that said you gotta do a sketch plan and then design.
But that's the, yeah, but that doesn't happen.
In case something else comes up.
This is just a sketch plan.
Oh, well,
Yep.
I just put those in that room last night. Usually I put them in the office.
what the ordinance was.
Yeah. Keep them in there now. Yeah. The old book, yeah.
All right, everyone, I've got 7 o'clock, so I'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item up, review and adopt the agenda for tonight. Any questions? All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we adopt it as it stands.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item on the agenda, review and adopt the minutes from December 19th.
Because I was here, I will make a motion that we adopt them or approve them as written.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? New business items. Oath of office administered by Deputy Town Clerk Mason Winfrey for newly appointed Town Planning Board member Curtis Gentry.
Robbie's gonna do it.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll just do it right there if you want to. I'm gonna grab one. All right. All righty. Makes it easier if you hold when you read. All right. All right. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Curtis Gentry,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States,
and laws of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities
and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor to support,
that I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of said state,
of said state,
not inconsistent with
not inconsistent with
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of my office as Town Planning Board member
of my office as Town Planning Board member
for the town of Stokesdale, North Carolina,
for the town of Stokesdale, North Carolina.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Kiss the bride.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All righty.
Next item on the agenda, sketch plan review, 8070 NC Highway 68. Guilford County tax parcel 238998, immediately southeast of the intersection of NC Highway 68 with Blues Creek Road at 870 NC Highway 68. Comprises approximately 37.1 acres. This is a request for approval of a sketch plan proposing a planned unit development consisting of a maximum of 44 twin home units. The Stokesdale Planning Board will make a recommendation to the Stokesdale Town Council, which will have the authority to approve or deny the request. Do we have a?
So as you mentioned, what's that? Yeah, I'm Avery too. I'm the new, I guess, planning liaison to the board. I've been to a town council meeting now, but this is my first planning board. So nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Meet you.
So this is a request for approval of a sketch plan proposing a planned unit development, like you mentioned, consisting of a maximum of 44 twin home units. Following approval by both the planning board and town council, the sketch plan may be included with a rezoning application. The rezoning request would also need to go before the planning board and town council. And I will quote the relevant section of the Stokesdale UDO here. The planning board and town council shall review the sketch plan for consistency with the requirements of Article 5, titled Subdivisions, Procedures, and Standards, and other applicable standards in this ordinance. The planning board and town council, upon finding such consistency, shall approve the sketch plan for submission in combination with a rezoning application. If the sketch plan is not approved for submission, it shall be returned to the applicant with written reasons for disapproval and/or requests for further information. If it is not approved, the applicant may revise and resubmit the sketch plan. I've included staff comments from the Guilford County staff review of this sketch plan. You can see them in the packet. And to conclude, staff recommends approval of the sketch plan subject to resolution of staff comments.
I think there's a lot of questions surrounding this one, but Mr. Winfrey, can you advise the board because this is a little unique, because it's just, I think our scope is very narrow here. We're just reviewing the sketch. Can you sum it up for the board, what is in scope and what is not in scope tonight?
Yes, so, so the applicant, has not submitted, for consideration tonight, they've not submitted for consideration tonight a rezoning request. Under the ordinance as read by Mr. Tew, the, requirements are that the sketch plan be reviewed by this board and then by the town council. After that's done, then they can submit their rezoning, the formal rezoning request for consideration. And then, that will come back to this board for dealing with the zoning, request. And then they'll, depending whatever action you take, it will be going to the town council for consideration at that point. And then afterward, there may be a site plan review by this board and the town council. So it appears that you may have 3 opportunities to review this proposed development. The only question before you tonight, and I think is laid out in the ordinance, but the question is whether this this sketch plan is consistent with what might be later submitted as a site plan. In other words, are there any parts of this that would be inconsistent with a site plan that might be submitted down the road? So this is not a site plan. This is not even the rezoning request. This is, does this site plan, I'm sorry, does the sketch plan, is it consistent with the development ordinance?
Okay.
And so really, I suppose I would request that the board just focus on not the rezoning request, which I think may have been included in your packet, but I think I would encourage you just to focus on, to the extent you can read it, the site plan, I'm sorry, sketch plan that is in the packet, which is, I guess, the 4th or 5th page of the material. So I think that's the only issue before the board. Now, the board is free to ask questions about would this be something that would be permitted on a finalized site plan, but that's really the limited scope of your review tonight.
Okay, thank you. So we'll open it up to the board for questions.
All right, first question. Where's the water coming from for the residential units? Going to have a well or the city? I'm sorry?
Thank you, Madam, or Mr. Attorney and Board. I'm Amanda Hodiern. I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicant. My offices are at 804 Green Valley Road, Suite 200 in Greensboro. To answer your question, the water line is right there in 68, and pursuant to the ordinance that anything within 1,000 feet has to be connected, this project would connect to that. I do have with us here tonight Dalton Ward. He's the professional engineer who has developed the sketch plan, and if we continue on, would develop a site plan, so he can help answer any of your questions as well. And we do have a large print layout, if that would help anyone, that he could hand up.
You want to ask the question?
And have there been any changes at this point? May I ask any changes to the sketch plan as it exists now?
Sure, yeah. Thank you for that question. So most of the TRC comments were, what I would submit to you, are advisory in nature, meaning things that would have to come to fruition when this becomes a fully developed site plan. There were a couple items that we could fix now, like making sure that there are no structures in the floodplain and labeling that floodplain a little more clearly. So Dalton has done those items, and those are noted in what he's handing up now. We'll provide one to Mr. Tew. But everything else are things that are required at a full site plan scale submittal. The requirements for a sketch plan submittal are found at Article 4-10.5. They're really just 5 things. And then Appendix 2, the map standards for sketch plan. And as you'll note, or you may be familiar with, those checklists are much less detailed than what you may see for a full site plan, as you would expect, because this is a threshold matter that would, if successful, lead the applicant to then develop a further site plan.
I have a further question.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to us how the sewage is going to get over to the proposed septic area? Does each twin home have its own pipe, or is there going to be a central?
I can let Dalton explain in better detail, but it'll be collected and piped, bored under to the common field.
Okay,
But if,
You may expound on that.
please.
If you don't mind.
So I'm Dalton Ward, Hugh Creed Associates, 902 Cross Creek Road, Kernersville. So the way that this development will be set up is the units will actually be grouped together. It's to a sort of a community style system, but there'll be multiple community systems. My office has done several of these, and what it allows us to do is instead of having 44 individual systems, we'll have, I think it's approximately 5 or 6 larger systems. And so yeah, there'll be one bore under Troublesome Creek, likely, possibly 2. I think it's 1. We'll have one encasement pipe with multiple lines running through it. And we'll have some sort of collection system, what you call a step system, on the side of Troublesome Creek where the units are.
can you talk about how that all gets reviewed by the health department?
Yeah, so the path that we go with this will actually be what we call an engineered option permit. So it's a new, typically the way we do it is, and I'm not sure, I haven't got into the details of this. We have another designer in our office who mainly handles this, but typically, well, bottom line, HOA. There is a distance where the owner, there's a tank outside the units where it drains to, and the HOA is responsible, so.
Very good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Could I ask just a supplementary question to that? A couple, actually. I would assume that some preliminary studies have been done by the health department to kind of ensure that these proposed septic areas are sufficient, that the perk is going to be there, so that the 44 units will be properly served by these 5 proposed areas.
Yes, absolutely.
And you noted that the bore would be done underneath Troublesome Creek. Is there any concern about a possible seepage, or if any of those lines may break, that there could become some contamination to the creek?
So likely we'll go a distance off the bank of the creek in either direction, and it'll be completely encased in solid. It'll be a solid pipe they're glued together throughout Troublesome Creek. So, I mean, we don't anticipate any breakage underneath. There's no reason for it to, but we've never seen that happen before. I haven't had any experience with that.
The pipe themselves go in the encasement.
That's right. Yes.
So
So
Okay.
double protection.
So it's
That's right.
double?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
I got a question. So we've got one plan that we were given, I guess, earlier this week, and it looks like the changes to the plan we're looking at today are just how the road and where this was moved, you said, to get these homes out of the floodplain, is that?
that's correct. Yeah. So the road, we don't propose there's no road or homes in the floodway now, or in the floodplain. So Guilford County reviewed it, their preliminary maps that will become effective very soon. So that's what the change was, the new flood maps coming in.
Okay, it is the new flood maps that were referenced in the TRC
Yes, sir.
comments.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Up here where you got the driveway coming in and it's crossing over the intermittent stream, is that a bridge or is that the road?
So it won't be a bridge, it will be a road. We'll have to get Army Corps stream crossing permits for that. So it'll likely be a culvert of some sort.
And I guess you have prepared for the water during the heavy rains not to flood.
Yes, sir. Yeah. When we obtain those permits from the Corps, they'll verify our calculations and we'll make sure that it can handle the 100-year flood.
Well, before it couldn't handle it, I can tell you that now. I've seen the water 4 or 5 foot deep right next to 68.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like I said, with these new flood maps, we moved all the development out of it, so that will be a big help. And yeah, we'll we'll size it per the Army Corps permits as well, so.
Just one other quick question with regard to how these calculations were performed. Any of the non-encroachment area or any of the area within the floodplain and stuff, that's still included in the gross area, correct? When you're calculating the minimum square footage per unit?
You mean as far as the overall density of the
Yes.
development? Yes, yes, it is. It is.
I was wondering, because the ordinance states that there has to be 30,000 square feet per unit. And so if you took that non-development area out of the overall gross, then it would limit that number a little bit.
A point of clarification, what ordinance are you referencing that?
This is the land use plan,
Right, but which,
Stokesdale. It's regarding the fact that we don't have a public sewage system, and that the current ordinance requires all lots not served by public water and sewer to be at least 30,000 square feet. And so it takes into consideration that the requirement makes 3/4 to 1 acre lot sizes to be the norm for Stokesdale. So I did just a quick calculation with the 37.1 acres, comes out to be, over 1 million square feet, divided by 44, certainly qualifies to be 36,000 square feet. However, if the floodplain area is subtracted from that, it reduces that quite a bit to, might be under the 30,000.
Which ordinance are you looking at?
This is the future land use plan for Stokesdale.
so I'll let Mr. Winfrey answer, but I think with the comprehensive plan is, my understanding is out of our scope tonight. But just mathematically, I'll have to let staff weigh in. I'm not sure that's how that calculation is done.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah, that's a great question.
curious.
but-
Yeah, and I think that's, I feel like the focus would be on the 4-10.5, which kind of lays out kind of the scope of your inquiry. Let me see if I can find that real quick, I'm sorry. So your inquiry tonight is, does this map, is it consistent with the general location and amount of land proposed for development, essentially? The number of units of gross floor plan for each tract. Does it have the maximum height of buildings and structures in each such tract or area? The location and amount of land in flood hazard areas. And which we've shown was there, and then the proposed watershed protection measures. So those are the kind of the 5 items, and the ordinance says that if you find that it does that, and it's consistent with Article 5, then the town and the town council, the planning board and town council shall approve the sketch plan for submission. So I guess the only question tonight is, does this provide the information that the ordinance requires for a preliminary sketch plan?
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Mr. Winfrey, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So the map that we were given earlier this week in our packet is different than the map we're actually approving now. We're not getting into any issue legally by taking this new map today.
No, I think that's right, because what was submitted earlier indicated that we were waiting for it. There were, TRC had not given some of the
And this is just
feedback.
addressing those
And I
items.
think this addresses
Okay.
the TRC issue that was out, as I understand it.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is the intent of what's before you.
All right, I noticed that 2 of the, groups have, looks like, parking spaces for visitors. What about the 3rd group always on the right? Intend to add parking space for visitors there too?
So the parking ordinance ratios are primarily met on site for each unit with the driveway and the garage space. So visitor spaces are really done just as extra, to kind of, we all kind of know if you have a visitor or an overnight guest or something, it's nice for them to have a place to park that's not in the road. So they're not everywhere because we're also trying to balance that need to accommodate guests with, the need to keep the impervious surface low and, keep our development area tight for the other things we're trying to protect on the site, like the floodways and the streamways, and again, keeping our impervious surface within the requirement to not have to be a high-density option and things of that nature. So, certainly open to feedback about how to allocate that or spread it, but the goal is to, infuse in some visitor spots, but it's not a directive where each grouping would have to have some.
I understand. All right, now you raise another question. What about the runoff from all of these streets and impervious surfaces? Where does that all go? And how does it get to the stream? And is there any kind of catch basin for, obviously, there's going to be oils and debris from this area?
So in this watershed, as long as we have 24% built upon area or less, it's considered a low-density development. And we are at approximately 12%. So, and you can see, given all that off-site septic area and the floodplain and the floodway, we're leaving a lot of this natural and a lot of it open for that reason. So what we'll do is, we will have some sort of storm system. We'll discharge it safely into the nearby streams and back to where it originally flowed. It won't cause any issues.
Well, when you do have these catch areas, when will that be shown up on site plan or sketch plan?
So that will be a site plan issue. So whenever we submit site plan drawings, we will include stormwater calculations and we'll place all those pipes and stuff. Because even the sketch plan that we showed originally had grades on it that were rough, but I haven't even included proposed grades on this development. So once our sketch plan's approved, we'll go through that process.
Okay, so as I'm understanding, you will have those stormwater discharges on a site plan?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. While this is a sketch plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any more questions from the board?
How tall will these buildings be?
35 feet. So
Maximum building height's 35 feet.
Okay. That's 2 stories then?
I'm not sure.
The building height is a required element to be labeled on a sketch plan, so we wanted to make sure to have it on there. And we chose 35 feet for a couple reasons. One, because it matches what's allowed in single-family districts, so you're ensured to have that consistency. And the other reason is that accommodates a nice 2-story home with gabling and some of the architectural features that you would see. If you need to have any grade variability, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So you did reference earlier HOA, so these are anticipated to be owner-occupied versus rental dwellings?
That is correct.
And you referenced garages in consideration of the parking allowance. So I think as shown, only one car would fit in front of the buildings in the driveway without any off-street parking.
So-
Actually 20-foot wide, 20-foot deep, so 2 cars.
So 2 cars, okay. Okay, very good. Thank you, Dalton.
Any more questions or discussion from the board?
Do you have a planned, an idea what kind of house you're going to build or twin home you're going to build here that you could share with us? Architectural,
Do you want me to answer that?
Well, you're welcome to. It's not germane to.
it's not germane, but I'm
to what's
asking a
here, but
question.
if they volunteer that information, I guess.
We do, and we're excited to share it with you when we're here before you for the rezoning.
I guess I'm curious because if you have 2 garage doors So that means there's 4 garage doors across each twin home. Where are you gonna have a front door?
So conceptually speaking, when we say 2-car garages, it's still just one door. It's not 4 separate bays.
Okay,
Yeah, so that might help visualize that a little bit.
that's what I'm trying to visualize.
Yeah.
How do you get 2 cars on each side, and where do you put the front door?
I can tell you that my client, Mr. Combs, has been working hard. He has a very, I think, attractive and something that's very in keeping with the vernacular and the aesthetic and what people would expect for the area that will offer, you know, this a little bit of a maybe different product type in a twin home, but still in keeping with what would be expected here. So, you know, we can get into that once we get to the rezoning, but don't want to, I don't know, confuse the scope tonight.
Okay.
Mr. Lewis, just to help you out, we drew the plans before we did the subdivision to accommodate what we had done.
Okay.
So there is.
I guess the word I was looking for was an elevation drawing.
Yeah, and we do, we actually have full drawings on it, but it's not right for us to share them tonight, or, well, let your attorney.
Well, that's right, that's not the, they can submit that, but that's, it's not what the ordinance requires for the plan for the board to be reviewing tonight.
But we do, we have it planned from A to Z and we're ready and excited. And we're excited about the whole project, and some people have been asking me for years to bring here to keep elder people in our communities. But tonight ain't tonight. But we came prepared for it. We found out about an hour before the meeting that we wasn't gonna
All right.
to do that, so.
I'll take it through what you're offering to show me after the meeting then.
No.
Well, a few months after the meeting,
They handcuffed me pretty hard tonight.
And no pre-sale. So,
But they are not.
I'll twist your arm later.
do I?
And it's something I feel like all y'all will be proud of.
So, Mr. Chairman, if depending what the pleasure of the board is, if the pleasure of the board is to recommend approval to the town council, then it would be in order for a motion to say that it complies with Article 4-10.5A1 of the ordinance that lays out your review tonight, and if you find it is consistent with the plan, you say it complies with it. If it's not, you say you find that it's not consistent with it. But that would be the form of the motion if one may wanted to have it approved or disapproved.
We'll give you guys one more time for any more discussion or questions.
I'd like to see 4-10.5A2 actually says.
That's the
I've
summary
got it.
there, right behind you, right under it.
Which one?
Page 2.
This one?
It's restated right here.
Yeah, it's in the comments, right?
Oh, okay.
The staff report.
I'll make the motion that the planning board recommend approval to the town council as it meets the requirements of the planned unit development ordinance, section 410-4, section 4-10. And it also will meet the growing needs of Stokesdale and its citizens.
I'll second that.
I believe I've covered it.
Yeah, all you really need to do is comply with 4-10.5, but that's.
Reasoning why.
the
sketch
other-
plan
The other one
complies
is
with.
surpluses, but it's fine.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right. Announcements. Town Planning Board announcements. The next regular, get my glasses on. The next regular town council meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 13th at 7 PM right here in Stokesdale Town Hall Chambers. The next regular town council meeting is March 13th, I apologize. The next regular planning board is March 27th. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Kevin,
The ayes have
come
it.
on, just show me. I want it.
Yes, sir.
I had to have back surgery. My legs kept falling asleep and I kept falling. I had to go in, yeah. Because my legs go to sleep. Your legs go to sleep, you can't feel the walk or anything. And I got about a 6 or 7 inch rod in about three that's fused together. And I had 2 shot glasses full of bone spurs taken out of it. And it's,
I mean,
this past, I haven't had any pain or anything until I start getting tired.
it's simply the sketch is all we were approving.
It's my muscles that are weak. Then we're building, I got in-house therapy coming 2 times a week. I go back to the doctor next Thursday and then I'll see what my next step is. I ain't even been able to drive since January